the next instrument, talking about tuning, I'm going to talk about French horn. I think my students probably have a single horn, and I only have a double horn to show you on. The slide, though, that we're looking at is if you follow your lead pipe around. Here we go. Boop, 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 boop. The first slide that actually moves on your instrument. Before we get to all of this cool stuff, that's going to be our tuning slide. That's going to just, in the initial sort of length of our instrument, the way that trumpets have that one that comes around the first crook, right? So we're going to use that slide to help us get our instrument in tune. And I'm going to test it with a Concert C. My disclaimer first is, boom, this is my Tonal Energy app. It's the one I have on my iPad. I enjoy it. It does cost a couple dollars in the App Store, but it has a metronome and all this cool stuff. And my favorite feature, especially when I have to play French horn, is I can transpose. So being able to pick what kind of instrument it's picking up that I'm reading so that the notes you're seeing, right, aren't show. Sometimes they're just showed in concert pitch, which is helpful. But sometimes I want to know if I'm playing like a C on French horn, and I want it to show me my French horn pitches. So I would find one that's transposing, and as a French horn player, have that on your device that you carry with you so you can check yourself tuning. If you're one of my students, Smart Music has a tuner built in for free, so you can use that every time you're practicing with Smart Music as well. You might be saying, why do I need to tune, Miss G? This is not important in my life. Well, it will help you for a couple reasons as a French hornist. First, if there are 2 French horns, your band is very lucky, and if there are more than that, your band's super lucky. But if there are 2 of you, and you're both trying to play the same note, it may come out really, really gross. And sometimes it's our partials, right, because that's tricky on the mouthpiece. But sometimes it's that our instrument's not in tune. And so you don't sound like 2 boats coming into shore. We want to make sure our instrument is in tune so that you can blend with the band if we're all playing something unison. Smart Music may pick up that you're playing a wrong note. And you might be like, my partials, I actually got them in the right place. Why is it picking me up wrong? Well, if your instrument, if this thing is pushed all the way in, it might think you're playing C sharp and not C natural, right? And so it might read your whole instrument tuning-wise incorrectly. So you want to do that so that way when you put all that hard work and effort and you get these perfect partials and perfect fingerings and all that stuff, it's actually sounding the way it needs to. Okay, now talking about tuning. So the same as it is for trumpet and trombone, if we need to make our instrument longer, right? Our instrument is sharp, meaning it's the top part of this circle on my tuner. Then we want to make that instrument longer, so we pull that slide out. If our instrument shows up that it's reading flat, we want to push it in and make our instrument a smaller instrument, right, by shrinking the tubing on it. So let's see, I think this instrument needs me to be a little bit in the middle, and then we'll go from there. So it's reading that my French horn is sharp on that C, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it out just a little bit. Just a smidge sharp. And make sure you keep a good air in there, so sometimes I'm not great at that. Come on, buddy. And it might take like this push-pull back and forth, right? It really wants to read this horn as flat, which it was doing that to me earlier. There we go. So for a second there, I had my like C that lit up as like a happy face, right? We can do this to check pretty much any pitch you want to hold and check that it's in tune, including ones that we push here. But getting those in the center of the pitch and starting out with an open, something we don't push a rotor down for, tuning note, right? Something that's in an open position, getting that note in tune is going to check the length of your whole horn to kind of start you off tuning correctly. So hopefully that kind of helps and gives you guys a rundown of like what tuning looks like on a French.